Jackson lay curled on the weather-beaten bench, his long blonde hair tangled in knotted clumps across his forehead. The night was soaked through with rain, each drop hammering down in relentless icy currents. Rivers ran along the cracked sidewalk, collecting in dirty puddles that reflected what little light escaped from the flickering street lamps above. His faded blue jeans were stained and ripped in the knees, threadbare in the thighs, the fabric permanently damp from too many nights exposed to the elements. Jackson was 18, but the world had battered him raw, and he felt much older than any teenager should. His eyes, the color of fading blue paint, stared hollowly at the dull gleam of city lights on the wet street. Forgotten. Unloved. He'd given up. Nobody had come looking for him when he vanished from the small world he'd called home. Nobody cared that he'd disappeared. Not his family, not any friend he might have hoped to count on. Not even the world at large. He had slipped into the cracks of the night, invisible and unmissed. Now cold rain battered his face as tears slipped unchecked down his cheeks. Jackson shuddered, sobbing quietly. He pressed his face into his crossed arms, willing exhaustion to pull him away from the gnawing ache that made his chest feel hollowed out and abandoned. The ache of being nobody to anyone. A rumble of thunder rolled through the clouds. The night pulsed, lit for an instant by a flash of lightning. Jackson flinched, shutting his eyes impossibly tighter, wanting to disappear. But then, as the sound faded, there was a different kind of quiet. The noise of the storm muted, almost absorbed. A presence emerged through the veil of rain, one step, then another, impossibly dry and shimmering with a faint glow. Jackson's breath snagged as he lifted his head, his vision blurred by crying and rain. Standing before him was a figure unlike any he had ever seen. Tall, clothed in simple but radiant white, the lines of his face both strikingly ordinary and unfathomably extraordinary. Dark, earnest eyes radiated compassion deep enough to drown in. Despite the downpour, the man's shoulder-length hair was dry, his skin untouched by the storm. Jackson scrambled back on the bench, heart galloping in his chest. Part of him expected a city official, a cop come to shoo him away, or some cruel stranger about to make things worse, but this man's presence pressed into the shadows like sunlight through mist.
Jackson.
His voice was gentle, resonant, cutting through the fog of despair in a way that made Jackson's skin prickle.
Yeah?
Why do you cry alone in the dark?
Jackson looked away, hot shame boiling up in his throat.
Nobody cares. Nobody even knows I exist.
The figure drew closer, rain vanishing where he stepped. He knelt, placing himself eye to eye with Jackson.
I know you. I have always known you. Even in the loneliest night. Even when you feel invisible to the world.
Jackson's hands trembled.
Who are you?
A faint smile flickered on the man's lips.
I am Jesus. I came to find you.
Why would you come to me? People like me, people nobody wants. They don't get miracles.
You are loved, Jackson. Not because of where you were born, or what you wear, or how others have treated you. You were made for more than this suffering. You're not forgotten. You are seen. You are cherished.
I just want the pain to stop. I can't keep fighting. I don't see a way out.
I know your heart. You come from a long line of those who wrestled with darkness and found light. Do you know who you are?
I'm just Jackson, a nobody.
No. You are of the line of David, a descendant of royal heritage, a line I myself belong to. Warriors, poets, kings, sinners, and those yearning for mercy, all are in your blood. You are not small, even when you feel crushed by the weight of the world.
A king? I don't even have a roof. If I've got royal blood, it got me nowhere.
Even the greatest kings sat in the dust and wept. Even I, the Son of Man, knew hunger, betrayal, abandonment. My kingdom is not of riches or palaces, but of hearts made whole and spirits set free.
Lightning flashed again behind Jesus' head, illuminating the street in a harsh white wash. But it wasn't frightening. This time the light grew, expanding, glowing until the city vanished and Jackson was no longer on a crumbling bench. He stood beside Jesus, atop a vast, endless plain of cloud, pierced by white gold beams of light, surrounded by millions of shadowed figures in the distance, an audience infinitely large and silent. In the center stood a dazzling throne, impossibly high and blazing brighter than the sun, its seat wide as rivers, its steps as countless as years. Jackson fell to his knees, trembling. He knew somehow where he was, the place from his nightmares and the sermons of his childhood, the white throne of judgment, an impossible sacred court at the end of days. Jesus stood at his side, no longer simply the gentle stranger. There was thorough majesty in his bearing, eyes alight with righteous love.
I'm not ready. I'm not good enough. I failed. I let everyone down.
Who stands before the throne?
Jackson, beloved son, heir to mercy, stands here.
The assembly watched. Jackson felt every failure, every lie, every night he gave up hope, burning raw against his soul. Who will speak for him?
Do you wish me to speak for you?
Tears rolled down Jackson's face as he nodded, speechless.
He is mine. For every night he suffered, I was beside him. For every wound, I bore the pain with him. His shame is buried in my love. His mistakes are covered by my sacrifice. He is forgiven.
A hush rolled across eternity, then a sound like bells and thunder broke forth, a proclamation beyond words. Let him rise and walk in newness. His story is not finished. The vision burst into 1,000 shards of light, and Jackson gasped, blinking against the rain, as the bench appeared again beneath him. Jesus sat beside him, his presence no less real.
Was that real?
You have seen what awaits, but your journey is here, now. Your pain is not pointless. You have a future waiting to be written, if you'll trust me to walk with you.
But I don't know how. I don't have anything. I don't even trust myself.
In your weakness, I am strong. You don't need to have it figured out. Just take the next step. Trust a little. Let yourself be loved.
Rain began to slow, drumming softer on the pavement. In the half-silence, Jackson looked at his broken shoes, at the tears and grime on his hands, feeling, astonishingly, like he could begin again.
If you're real, help me. Please don't leave me alone.
I won't leave you, Jackson. Not now, not ever.
When Jackson opened his eyes, the streetlights glowed brighter, rain glistening like diamonds on the grass. He blinked in disbelief. A sudden surge of clarity and presence settled in his chest. Something inside him had changed, even if the world around him hadn't. He rose on stiff legs, the bench creaking beneath him. In the pooling water at his feet, the remains of last night's trash floated. Fast food wrappers, a crushed soda can, and something else. A curled, half-soaked slip of paper. Jackson bent, curiosity tugging at his mind, and plucked it from the puddle. It was a lottery ticket, edges smudged by rain. He almost threw it away, but a sudden intuition urged him to look closer. The numbers faded but legible. He squinted and, like a distant memory, he recalled the drawer he'd watched through a shop window earlier that day. Shivering, heart thudding, he staggered down the block to a convenience store, clutching the soggy ticket. Inside, under stark fluorescent lights, the clerk eyed him warily, but dutifully checked the numbers. A moment later, the clerk's eyes widened. "Mister, this is the winner, $10 million. You just won $10 million. Jackson's mouth dropped open. Breathless, he stared at the ticket, at the numbers, at the beaming clerk. The world spun, not from fear, but from sudden, overwhelming possibility. He stumbled back out into the night, overwhelmed, heart bursting. He looked up, rain stinging his face. Somewhere in the shifting clouds above, he sensed more than saw the nearness of presence, watchful, loving, endless. Jackson smiled, not because of the money, but because hope had broken through the night. He was not forgotten. He was loved. His story, washed clean, unexpected and precious, was just beginning again.